Welcome to WoW TV. In today's video, we'll be discussing the weapons of the Ukraine army during the current Russo-Ukraine war. We'll cover the standard issue rifles, machine guns, pistols, and snipers, as well as weapons bought from and supplied by other countries. Due to the nature of the fighting in Ukraine, any weapon from World War II to today that has ever been in Soviet Ukraine service has probably seen at least some combat. But today, we'll cover the most noteworthy and common. Please be aware that while we strive for accuracy, the ongoing conflict and the nature of modern combat can make precise information difficult to obtain, even with a highly transparent battlefield. We base our reports on visual evidence and first-hand accounts. However, it's crucial to approach all information with a degree of skepticism. With that in mind, let's begin. AK-74, AK-74M. The AK-74 is the standard issue assault rifle for the armed forces of Ukraine. This rifle is an updated version of the well-known AK, which was originally chambered in 7.62x39. The AK-74 features minor improvements, such as a gas block positioned at 90 degrees instead of 45. However, the most significant change is the switch to the 5.45x39 caliber, developed in response to the new American 5.56 round. As a former part of the Soviet Union, Ukraine adopted this rifle and maintained it as their standard issue firearm after gaining independence. An updated version, the AK-74M, is also currently in service. Fort 221. The Fort 221 is a Ukrainian version of the Tavor Tar-21, an Israeli bullpup manufactured under license. Used by Special Forces and Ministry of the Interior Security Forces originally in 2014. Pre-invasion, it was intended to slowly replace the AK-74, but with the full-scale invasion, that was never completed. AKS-74. The AKS-74 is a variant of the AK-74, featuring a side-folding stock. It was issued to vehicle crews. Its compact design provided the firepower of a full-length rifle while offering enhanced maneuverability within confined spaces of Soviet-era vehicles. The Bren 2. The Bren 2 is a Czech assault rifle chambered for 5.56x45 and 7.62x39, made by the renowned company CZ. In a joint venture with the Ukrainian government, they set up factories in Ukraine to produce the rifle, as it is poised to be replacing the AK-74. The Bren is known for being very reliable, as well as having very good ergonomics. It is well liked by those using it. It is an improved version of the Bren 805. The Bren 3, an even more updated version, is also in use. AKS-74U. The AKS-74U is a shorter carbine variant of the AK-74 with a side-folding stock. Originally designed to bridge the gap between rifles and submachine guns, it was given to tank crews and troops expected to see close-quarters fighting, as well as officers. It is a Soviet legacy system that was not standard in service before the start of the full-scale invasion. It has been seen in some small quantities. The SKS. The SKS is a 7.62x39 chambered Soviet rifle that came right out of World War II, featuring a 10-round magazine. It was replaced in the mid-50s as a frontline weapon, but used in ceremonial roles for years to come. By the start of hostilities in 2022, it had been completely obsolete for years. However, due to the initial chaos of the invasion and a substantial surplus in storage, it was reintroduced early in the war for use by the Territorial Defense Forces, Rear Guard, and checkpoint duties. At this stage in the war, it has largely been replaced by the AK-74. The AKM, and other 7.62x39 chambered AK variants. Similar to the SKS, the AKM is a 7.62x39 chambered rifle, though it features a 30-round magazine. This firearm was ubiquitous globally for many years, persisting even today in regions such as the Middle East and Africa, although it was superseded in the 70s by the AK-74 and its variants. Due to large amounts in storage, it has seen some service with the TDF, National Guard units, and even a non-zero amount of frontline combat. Some prefer it, especially for urban combat, due to 7.62's barrier penetration performance. Mosin Nagant. In our World War II Soviet video, we went into depth on the Mosin Nagant, but suffice to say, it is a gun from the 1800s. 7.62x54 chambered bolt-action rifle feeding from a 5-round internal magazine. Seen in Ukraine, used as a sniper/DMR rifle with scopes and bipods, as well as with border guards and rear area units on both sides. NATO stockpiles. NATO and its Western allies have provided Ukraine with substantial quantities of surplus rifles, along with newer, modern production weapons. While these are not as prevalent as older Soviet stockpiles or newly manufactured Ukrainian guns, they are used in sufficient numbers to warrant mention. The M4. The American-supplied M4 is one of the most ubiquitous Western weapons. Having been in use since the 1990s, this rifle, chambered in 5.56 and typically using 30-round magazines, is a select-fire weapon with both full and semi-automatic settings. It features rails for attachment mounting, In the US, it's currently being replaced by the M7 rifle and already superseded by the M27 IAR for the Marines. In Ukraine, the M4 remains very popular with troops and is considered one of the most sought after rifles. The FN-FAL, also called the right arm of the free world, is a 308 chambered battle rifle of Belgian design. Manufactured by FN, it is fed from a 20-round box magazine. The paratrooper model, featuring a folding stock, was the version supplied. Many NATO countries adopted it during the Cold War. At the start of the war in Ukraine, the FAL was supplied and seen in service. It was also utilized by Brazilian volunteers as Brazil continues to produce and use the FAL. The M14. The M14 is an American-made 308 battle rifle. It replaced the M1 Garand in U.S. service after World War II, feeding from its 20-round box magazine. It had the shortest service life of any U.S. small arm, quickly being replaced by the M16. It's believed that M14s in Ukrainian service were provided by the Baltic states, who had previously received them from the United States. Given its outdated nature, the M14 is primarily employed as a designated marksman rifle with scopes. Its large caliber makes it effective for long-range engagements, though less suitable as a standard infantry weapon, a role in which it may still be utilized. HK416. The HK416 is a highly reliable and user-friendly 5.56 NATO rifle, manufactured in Germany and supplied by both Germany and the Netherlands. While similar to the AR-15 style rifle, it utilizes a short-stroke gas piston system, eliminating the need for a buffer tube and allowing for the addition of a folding stock. This sought-after rifle is widely recognized for its exceptional performance. Civilian AR-15s from the American market have been seen in decent numbers. Some prefer them for ergonomics and for the capability to mount lasers, lights, grips, and optics, such as SCARs not believed to be supplied by the US, Springfield Saints, and many, many more. The RPK. The RPK is a 7.62 by 39 chambered rifle. It is essentially an upscaled AK pattern rifle. It features a longer, heavier barrel, a bipod, and a drum magazine. When the AKM was replaced by the AK-74, the RPK also saw a change, becoming the RPK-74, with its primary modification being the switch in caliber to 5.45. Drums were also abandoned in favor of 45-round magazines. These rifles were widely used across all COM-bloc nations, both before and after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. The RPK, meaning Kalashnikov handheld machine gun, was typically employed in the squad automatic rifle role. While largely superseded by PKM machine guns in Russian service, Ukraine continues to utilize them in smaller quantities. Both the 7.62 and the 5.45 versions are still commonly found in the Ukrainian battlefield today, with the RPK-74 being the more prevalent model. RPD. The Degtyarev handheld machine gun, or RPD, is an antiquated Soviet 7.62 by 39 light machine gun. It feeds from 100-round belts housed in a belt box, often mistaken for a magazine. Although frequently associated with the AK platform, the RPD was developed prior to the Kalashnikov rifle. It entered service in 1944, but did not see any combat during World War II, with its implementation occurring in the 1950s before being supplanted by the RPK. Despite its 80-year age, this legacy system has been brought out of storage to meet the small arms needs. Some consider it to be a highly capable weapon for the type of fighting observed in Ukraine, particularly for trench clearing, owing to its lightweight design, high rate of fire, and substantial ammunition capacity. PKM. The PK is a general-purpose machine gun developed by Kalashnikov and Polymet and adopted in 1961. The PK designation reflects its origins. Later, it was refined into the PKM, or modernized version. Despite its age, it remains highly regarded as a very competent weapon and is still in standard issue worldwide due to its popularity. This open-bolt, belt-fed machine gun is chambered in 7.62 by 54R. It can feed from 100, 200, or 250 round belts. For infantry use, 100 round belt boxes can be attached. Ukraine has its own version of the PKM, including the KM762 and the KTM for vehicle use. Ukraine utilizes this gun extensively, with it being regarded as one of the best GPMGs ever made. DSHK. The DSHK is a 12.7 or 50 caliber machine gun, originally designed during World War II. While produced in relatively small quantities during the war, it gained significant recognition and widespread use thereafter. It has seen extensive deployment in the Russo-Ukraine War, where it's utilized in gun emplacements and during assaults on bipods and tripods. The DSHK has also been frequently mounted on various vehicles. For more background on this weapon, refer to our video on Soviet small arms of World War II. KPV. The KPV was developed in the Soviet Union in 1949. The 14.5 by 115mm machine gun was designed by Degtyarev, who began work on it in 1945. This powerful weapon blurs the line between a cannon and a machine gun. In Ukrainian service, it is primarily mounted on vehicles and anti-aircraft systems. but it is also effective in anti-infantry roles. Its capabilities make it excellent for engaging lightly armored vehicles and infantry, in addition to its anti-air application. NSV. The NSV, a 12-7 by 108 or 50 caliber machine gun, was originally a Soviet-era weapon. Manufactured in Ukraine during its time in the Soviet Union, it remains a standard-issue firearm in Ukrainian military service. The NSV is deployed as an emplaced weapon and is also mounted in various vehicles. The Browning M2. The Browning M2, an American 50 caliber machine gun, was developed in the 1920s and remains widely used by the United States, Ukraine, and many other nations. It is renowned for its reliability and robust design, primarily serving as an emplaced weapon for defense against trench assaults. M240. The M240, an American 7.62 by 51 machine gun, is belt-fed, typically feeding from 100-round belts. The U.S. supplied this weapon to Ukraine, where Ukrainian forces developed the Marina backpack system. This innovation allows the M240 to be fed from 650-round belts stored in the user's backpack. While the M240 is used as an emplaced defensive weapon, its man-portable capability also makes it suitable for offensive operations. The M249. The M249, an American-supplied 5.56 machine gun, functions as a squad automatic weapon. It is based on the FN Mini-Me and is fed by 200-round belts. The SVD. The SVD, a Soviet-era design marksman rifle, is chambered in 7.62 by 54R. It was initially developed to address the fact that all standard squad weapons use the 7.62 by 39 cartridge. With NATO's adoption of the 7.62 by 51, the Soviets recognized their need for a rifle with greater range. Although semi-replaced by indigenous Ukrainian rifles, in Ukrainian service, the SVD saw some use in the Russo-Ukraine War, particularly at the beginning due to the demand for small arms. However, it has largely been phased out in favor of Western-style rifles in Ukrainian designs. UAR-10. The UAR-10, or the Z-10, is a Ukrainian-produced rifle, chambered in 7.62 NATO, that is based on the AR-10 platform. It is designed to replace the aging Soviet SVD Dragunov, and is one of the most commonly found DMR/sniper rifles in Ukraine. These rifles are typically equipped with long-range scopes, bipods, and suppressors. VPR. The VPR 308 or 338 is an indigenous Ukrainian-designed sniper rifle, chambered in either 308 or 338 Lapua Magnum. These bolt-action rifles are equipped with 5 or 10-round magazines, long-range scopes, and bipods. While silencers are not standard issue, they can be fitted. SNIPEX Alligator. The Ukrainian-made SNIPEX Alligator is a 14.5 anti-material rifle, measuring 2 meters in length. It is available in both bolt-action and semi-automatic versions. Though the 14.5 caliber was originally designed for anti-tank rifles, it is no longer effective in that role, though it still can be used for this purpose. This rifle gained notoriety during the war for reportedly achieving the world's longest kill at a distance of 2.5 miles. BARRETs. American-made 50 caliber sniper rifles, like the BARRET M82, have also been seen being used in an anti-material role. Many other snipers, DMRs, and anti-material rifles are in use from other countries spanning the globe. PM Makarov. The Makarov, like so many others, was a Soviet-designed pistol, being standard issue in the Soviet Union and after the fall in its breakaway countries for many years. Chambered in 9x18, being phased out in favor of Western and indigenous design. Due to massive stockpiles, it is still very widespread. The Fort 12. The Fort 12 is an indigenous Ukrainian-built pistol, chambered in 9x18. Developed in the late 1990s, it was intended to replace the aging Makarov pistol. While it never fully achieved this, it is still seen in some numbers within Ukrainian service. 14. The Fort 14 is an updated version of the Fort 12, boasting a longer barrel, originally intended to be a 9x19 pistol, but ended up being reverted to the old Soviet caliber. Fort 17. The Fort 17 is a polymer version of the Fort 12, being mostly identical, but being much lighter in weight. Similar to the widely reported tank captures early in the conflict, Russian small arms, such as HK416 and cord machine guns, are extensively utilized whenever they are discovered. But those guns will be covered when we visit the Russian side of this conflict. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to tune in next time for another exciting adventure. So let us know in the comments, what country should we feature next? And did we miss anything? See you in the next one. Da 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 da!